Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl. This album has been announced. Here are my thoughts. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. This is going to be the final little news slash Twitter section of this, music review show, guys. I will be getting back to doing regular content because, we got Sabrina Carpenter on Friday night, so get ready for that. But guys, we got Taylor Swift today because I saw this album get announced, and I wanted to talk about it for a little bit now, but, I've been so busy with other content and stuff like that, guys. It's finally time to talk about, one of the artists that, is the reason why I'm still covering music to this day. I will always give Taylor Swift my props, my flowers, because, guys, there's so many people that, want to literally pretend that Taylor Swift is not the biggest fucking pop star out there. I knew Taylor Swift's the biggest pop star since 2020, guys, since I've been covering these goddamn albums. And, I will be real, guys, starting from, folklore, building up to, all the way up to now. It is just kind of crazy, all the different, Taylor versions and, all the other albums that we've covered on this show. It's just kind of crazy to think about, that another album is coming out. Now, look, I do not know what this album is even going to sound like. I'll just be real. Because, the last one, Poets of, Society, that album right there, or Dead Poets Society, something like that. I forgot what the album was called, guys. It's been a little bit, I will be real. But I remember when that album came out, and I really enjoyed my reviews of it, but, I did feel like, I feel like, Taylor Swift might just be putting out some music here. I didn't really feel too much like an album. So I really hope Life of a Showgirl is gonna, have more of a story to it on this one. I'm so used to Taylor Swift, with every song, having some kind of, story going along with it, having some lyrics going along with it, etc. I really like the darker production, and I really like how, as the years keep going on with Taylor Swift, one of the things that I keep picking up is that her voice is just getting better and better as, the years go on. It's like her voice, is just, going even more crazy, which is crazy to say. But, I really like how, when you listen to, Taylor's versions of albums, etc., you really hear the maturity now in her voice. You really hear, the stronger vocals, the ability to do, easy vocal runs just out of the blue, just able to sing her ass off, just even more better now as the years goes on. And it's really cool to see that. So I hope we get more improvements of that. And I really hope, Life of a Showgirl could give us a production switch up. I feel like, for a little bit, and for a few of Taylor Swift's albums, it does feel like production-wise, we have got a little stagnated. So I feel like that's why Taylor Swift went on a big break. You got to go on a big break. And after this big break, I hopefully, we're going to get, some evolving. That's what I need from Taylor Swift, I think her vocals are getting better. I think her lyricism is even getting even better. I think the storytelling is even getting any better for this album. But I do feel like Taylor Swift's ear for production, her sounds for, good pop production. I hope these sounds, and I hope this ear gets even more better. I hope it keeps evolving. I hope she keeps trying new stuff, etc. Because that's what I want on an album like this, guys. So I hope we get that. And also, I'm thinking, how long is this album going to be? Taylor Swift is known for doing long-ass albums. She's known for doing long-ass albums, long-ass deluxes, long-ass discs too. She's known for doing that. But I do think Life of a Showgirl, so we're going to predict it right here on the show. I could definitely be wrong. I do think this might be a little bit more of a, I guess you could say this is more of a coherent project. And what do I mean by that? Well, I don't think it's going to be bloated with like 30 songs or something like that. I don't think it's going to be a bloated album. I think it might be, in that 15 to 20 track range. So I think that's what, what Taylor Swift could definitely bring. So I definitely do want to see that, guys. Hopefully it's not a 30 track, extravaganza, because if it is a 30 track, whole thing, I've been listening to a lot of NBA Youngboy. I've been listening to a lot of, 30-track albums, and they have been very disappointing. So I hope to God Taylor Swift is not doing a 30-track album. Because if you do a 30-track album, guys, you know what's going to happen. You might have a lot of good songs on this album, but there's going to be a point of this album, as the album keeps going on, where production is not going to feel good, and it just feels like we're just adding songs to an album. We're just adding this one. It's not really, adding up to anything. So I really hope we do not get, I hope we don't get no 30-track album. I really hope this is more of a 15 to 20-track album, and I would even, want a shorter album too. I feel like that's a thing that, Taylor Swift should definitely do. She could just drop a 30-track album. It's Taylor Swift. She might just, drop a fucking 40-track album on your ass. She might be saying she's been making music. She's been making new music for like 2 fucking years. She's been making new music all through the last 2024 NFL season. Like, maybe she's got 40 tracks ready to go. Like, I don't fucking know. But I really hope this album, one, has, more great evolving sound and production. And, the vibes that I'm getting from this cover is that this is going to be more a warmer, sounding production. Definitely giving me more like, like some autumn kind of fall kind of vibes going on here. So I think we're going to get more of that style. So hopefully we get that. If we don't, I don't know. If we don't get that, I hope it's, better than whatever I'm saying. And then also, 15 to 20 tracks is what I'm hoping the album's going to be at. I hope it's less, because if it's less, that means, oh yeah, this is going to be like a really good Taylor Swift album. Like, this is going to be a really cohesive, like, you're going to listen to a really good, all the way through story here. So, but 15 to 20 tracks should be definitely in that perfect range where, a couple might not be the best, but, you could still have a lot of bangers there. And then third of all, I hope Taylor Swift keeps evolving the voice. I hope the vocals keep evolving. I hope we keep playing around with the background vocals. I hope we keep playing, with all of these elements, because Taylor Swift has, one of the best pop singing voices that you can listen to. And I think as she gets older, she's getting better and better at singing. It's just a great combination. So, that's my thoughts of Life of a Showgirl from Taylor Swift, guys. Let me know. Are you excited for this album? You're going to be checking it out day one. And, guys, it's coming out on October 3rd. October 3rd is when it's coming out. So, I would say right after a good old month of just covering the NFL, guys, we'll be talking about Taylor Swift in October, which is pretty awesome. And we'll be doing a lot of track reviews, guys. We'll be doing a whole, I won't even lie, we're going to be doing the Sabrina Carpenter, marathon, we're going to be doing that whole thing, very soon. But on October, we're also going to be doing a Taylor Swift marathon too, like the old days. So, that's going to be really fun to do, guys. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.